It's my honor to welcome all our elected officials, dignitaries, community leaders, and all of you joining us here today for this truly historic occasion. On behalf of the America250PA Lehigh County, thank you for being here as we dedicate our Allentown semi-quincentennial bell on our journey towards America's 200th birthday. Today is more than a ceremony. It's a reminder that the story of America was never written in one place. It was shaped in communities like ours by ordinary people who chose to do extraordinary things in the name of liberty, opportunity, and self-government. Here in Lehigh County, we are proud stewards of that legacy. Now it is my pleasure to introduce to you our community leader and pastor, Greg Edwards of Resurrected Life Community Church, for the invocation.
Good morning. Let us pray. I'll be praying in my faith tradition, the Christian faith tradition, but I invite you to invoke whatever tradition you brought into this space on this morning. Let us pray. Eternal God, creator of every nation and every people, maker of heaven and earth, author of liberty, justice, mercy, and truth, we gather on this sacred day in gratitude and hope as we dedicate this replica of the historic Liberty Bell here in the heart of downtown Allentown, outside the doors of Resurrected Life Church. We thank you for the privilege of memory. We thank you for the courage of those who came before us. We thank you for the possibility that still lives within this nation to become more just, more compassionate, and more united than it ever has been before. Lord, as our country approaches the 250th anniversary of its founding, we stand before history and destiny. We celebrate the ideas that gave birth to this nation: liberty, equality, dignity, and self-determination. But we also stand honest before you, knowing that America's story has always been both beautiful and broken at the same time. For while liberty was proclaimed, many were still enslaved. While freedom rang, chains still rattled. While some tasted democracy, others endured exclusion, segregation, violence, and oppression. Yet, God, you have always raised up witnesses who refuse to let the promise die. We remember today the abolitionists who helped transform this bell from merely a state house bell into what the world now knows as the Liberty Bell. We remember those courageous women and men, black and white, who looked upon the inscription from Leviticus etched upon the bell: proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof, and dare to ask America to live up to its own words. So Lord, we thank you for the abolitionists. We thank you for the freedom fighters. We thank you for Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, William Lord Garrison. Thank you for the unnamed saints who marched, prayed, preached, resisted, organized, and sacrificed so that liberty would not remain the possession of the privileged, but become the birthright of all God's children. Now, O God, as this replica stands before our church and within our great city, may it be more than metal. May it become a moral witness. May it become a sacred reminder. May it call us not merely to admire history, but to continue the unfinished work of freedom. For Lord, we confess today that racism still wounds this nation, division still fractures communities, hatred still poisons public life, fear still tempts us to retreat into tribes instead of building beloved community. We see it in our politics, we see it in our schools, we see it in our neighborhoods, we see it in disparities of wealth, health, opportunity, and justice. But God, we also believe on today that healing is possible. So we ask that you heal this nation, Lord. Heal our deep political and racial divides. Heal the scars of slavery and segregation. Heal the violence of anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, xenophobia, and hatred in every form. Heal the bitterness that teaches us to fear one another instead of seeing one another as neighbors. Teach us again that liberty without justice is incomplete. Teach us again that patriotism without truth is hollow. Teach us again that democracy survives only when people choose courage over cruelty and community over division. Lord, let this bell ring in our consciousness before it ever rings in the air. Let it remind elected officials to govern with integrity and compassion. Let it remind clergy to preach truth without fear. Let it remind citizens that freedom requires participation, responsibility, and sacrifice. Let it remind young people that their voice matters and their future is worth fighting for. God, we pray especially for the city of Allentown. Bless its residents. Bless its workers. Bless its schools, businesses, neighbors, and houses of worship. Bless those who live here for generations, those who newly arrive seeking opportunity and refuge. Make this city a living testimony that diversity is not a threat to democracy, but one of its greatest strengths. Bless Resurrected Life Church as well. May this congregation continue to be a place where faith meets justice, where worship inspires service, and where people from every background or encounter the transforming power of love. And Lord, as we dedicate this symbol during the nation's sesquicentennial celebration, let us remember that the truest celebration of America is not fireworks or speeches alone, but the continual expansion of freedom, dignity, and opportunity for all people. So let liberty ring from every city and every countryside. Let liberty ring in black communities and white communities. Let liberty ring in immigrant communities and rural towns, in courtrooms and classrooms, in churches, synagogues, mosques, and temples. Let it ring until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. When future generations stand before this bell, may they be able to say that in our time, we chose reconciliation over resentment, truth over denial, democracy over despair, and love over hate. Now unto you, O God, who calls us to freedom and binds us together in human dignity, be all honor, glory, wisdom, and praise. And let all of God's people say, amen, amen, and ashe.
Thank you, Greg Edwards. Truly inspiring words. The American War for Independence was a turbulent time in America's history. Soldiers, young and old alike, came to help here in the Lehigh Valley. They risked everything for an ideal called liberty. The 6th Pennsylvania Regiment played an important role in the events that would unfold during the War of Independence. At this time, please stand if you're able for the presentation of the colors by the 6th PA Regiment, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by the Chief Curator and Assistant Director of the Lehigh Valley Heritage Museum in Allentown, a trailblazer in her own right, Jill Youngkin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please welcome a public servant and hero who was an NYPD sergeant working at Ground Zero on September 11th and now is with the North Catasauqua Police Department, Corporal Steven Santiago, for the singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land and of the free, and the home of the brave. Thank you. Thank you.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. You may be seated. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce someone who has been both a dedicated leader in this historic moment and, for me, a longtime personal friend, Cassandra Coleman, Executive Director of America250PA. Cassandra brings passion, vision, and an unwavering commitment to honoring the story of our Commonwealth. As we approach the 250th anniversary of our nation's founding, through her leadership with America250, she has helped elevate communities across Pennsylvania, ensuring that this commemoration is not only reflective, but inclusive, forward-looking, and deeply meaningful. On a personal note, I've had the privilege of knowing Cassandra for many years. I've seen her firsthand, her dedication, her integrity, and her heart as she brings to everything she does. She is not only an exceptional professional, but someone who genuinely cares about people and the community. She is the brains and the driving force behind America250PA celebrations, and we are so very grateful to have her. Please join me in welcoming Cassandra Coleman.
Thank you so much, Fadia. As Fadia mentioned, I'm Cassandra Coleman, and I have the distinct honor of serving as the Executive Director of America250PA. And it is great to be here with all of you as we unveil our fourth semi-quincentennial bell, an enduring symbol of the Lehigh Valley's contributions to our Commonwealth and to our country. The bell we unveil today is one of a series that we've commissioned across Pennsylvania as we honor 250 years of this country's story. And while July 4th, 1776 is the date that is etched in our minds, the real work of building a new nation did not begin or end that day in Philadelphia. Each bell highlights a place where the American story took root in remarkable but sometimes overlooked ways. Our first semi-quincentennial bell stands at the Dennis Farm in Susquehanna County, where Denise Dennis helped us honor the story of free African Americans who forged a legacy of perseverance before emancipation was even imaginable. And Denise and her brothers and cousin are here with us today, so thank you so much for being here with us. And if I'm not mistaken, they've been at every bell unveiling thus far. So thank you so much for your partnership. And we also have Jackie White from the Dobbin House in Gettysburg here with us today, the oldest standing structure in the town limits, former home to Reverend Alexander Dobbin and his family, and it was believed to be the first stop on the Underground Railroad north of the Mason-Dixon line, and where our next semi-quincentennial bell will be placed late this summer. I see Jackie here as well. Jackie, thank you. Today's bell captures a crucial theme that runs through the American experience: hope in the face of uncertainty. It's something we can all relate to today, but it's worth remembering that the founders lived with the same uncertainty. In 1777, when Philadelphia fell to the British, it's possible that the Liberty Bell could have been melted down and used as ammunition against Washington's army. Fortunately, the people of Allentown were as brave and patriotic then as they are today. There's a saying that it's a curse to live in interesting times, but I see it differently. These are the moments when history matters most. When we look back on the Revolution, the outcome can feel inevitable. But the Liberty Bell's flight to Allentown reminds us that our founders didn't have that certainty, only hope that what they were fighting for was worthy of their sacrifices. This installation honors that spirit. It marks a turning point in our history and anchors that story right here in the heart of Lehigh County. It carries forward the legacy of those who lived, who fought, and sometimes had to hide during a pivotal moment in human history, and reminds us that their resilience made this anniversary and this country possible. On behalf of America250PA, I want to thank each of you for being here with us, and I want to thank our partners, the Allentown Economic Development Corporation, ANISDA, PP&L, City Center, Coterra Energy, the Downtown Allentown Alliance, Senator Nick Miller and his team, and the America250PA Lehigh County Committee for your collaboration in making this moment possible. I also want to recognize the America250PA commissioners who are here with us today, and I want to thank each of them for all of their continued support. And lastly, I do want to personally thank Fadia Halma, who has been a wonderful advocate and friend from day one on this work. And let's give Fadia a round of applause. And lastly, I would be remiss if I did not thank the Pennsylvania State Police, led by Colonel George Bivens, who is here today. The State Police, along with all of our local law enforcement, allow us to put these events on, but put these events on safely across our Commonwealth. So how about a round of applause for all of our law enforcement here today? So again, I want to thank each of you for being here. We are honored to place this semi-quincentennial bell here as a symbol of hope for this community and for all of Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Thank you, Cassandra. It's an honor to introduce a leader who embodies the energy, resilience, and the promise of the city it serves, Mayor Matt Turk. As mayor of Allentown, his work focuses on building a stronger and more inclusive Allentown, one where every resident has a chance to thrive and every neighborhood is part of the city's progress. Look around, the city is thriving. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Matt Turk.
Gracias, Fadia. Bienvenidos a Allentown. Buenos dias. We're still in the morning. Welcome to Allentown. Good morning, everybody. I think I have 3 minutes, but I also have like 10 minutes worth of people to recognize. Part of my job as a mayor is to recognize our many guests who will not be speaking today. And I want to start, it's always a pleasure to see our Congressman for Pennsylvania 7, Ryan McKenzie, showing up in downtown Allentown. Glad you're here, sir. I'm going to try to, a lot of people showed up last minute here, so I'm going to try to get as many as possible. Please forgive me if I miss you. But I want to start, we mentioned earlier, Senator Nick Miller. Always appreciate your support of the things that we do here, Senator. Moving on to our state representatives. We are represented here by Ana Tiburcio of Pennsylvania House District 22. We're also represented in Allentown by Representative Peter Schreier, who is represented today by school board member Nancy Wilt. I believe we have somebody from our additional representative Mike Schlossberg's office as well. Round of applause for them. We're also, this is the city de bienvenida, the city of welcome, so I want to welcome some visitors. State Representative Ann Flood is joining us. State Representative Milou McKenzie is joining us today. Super happy to see you here. I know we're joined by Hayden Rigo, who is the Chief of Staff to our Pennsylvania Auditor General. Thank you, Hayden, for being here. Secretary of the Department of Revenue, Pat Brown, and longtime state senator for Allentown. Mr. Secretary, we wouldn't be here without Senator Pat Brown, so thank you for joining us. We're also joined, I believe, City Council President Sandro Napoli is here. City Council Vice President Cynthia Mota is here. City Councilman Jeremy Binder is joining us as well. So glad to see all of you here. I did see Sheriff Joe Hanna here somewhere. He's here. Let's give Hannah a round of applause. Former Chief of Police for the City of Allentown. Definitely deserves recognition. We also have IBEW representative from Local 375, Paul Anthony, a member of ANISDA, is joining us as well. Thank you, sir. And then I want to recognize there are a few people that this wouldn't be happening. Thank you, Fadia. Thank you, Cassandra. But without the work of our DCED Director, Vicki Kissler, our Parks Director, Mandy Tolino, and our Public Works Director, Mark Shada, this phenomenal event couldn't have happened. So thank you to all. And thank you especially to our Allentown Police Department folks who are here keeping us safe as well. If I miss you, I apologize. Look, we heard briefly from phenomenal work by Reverend Edwards. Always hard to follow up Reverend Edwards with words of inspiration, but I definitely take to heart what you had to say to us. We heard from Ann about this symbol of hope that is on Hamilton Street right now. You know, everybody knows the story about how the Liberty Bell was hidden in Allentown in 1777. We had to protect it from the British. People brought it up to Allentown. They hid it under the floorboards of Zion's Church, or so the story goes. Maybe Jim Higgins will tell us a little more about that in a second. But look, it is a great story. And one of the things that is so phenomenal about the story is it is a reminder, and it's not just a symbol of hope, but it's a reminder of that partnership. It's that call to action. It is a reminder that people who hid the bell, wherever they might have hidden it, weren't just spectators. They weren't just watching the world go by. They were asked to do a lot. All of the people who helped found this country were asked to step up and be actively involved in the founding of the country, be actively involved in civic life, be actively involved for fighting for liberty and freedom. And one of the things that I love about the fact that we are no longer going to be hiding a bell in a basement in this beautiful church, but now the bell is going to be right here on the street. And a minute ago, I saw a bunch of school children walking up. I assume there's a Resurrection to Life daycare kids. Those kids and every resident of the city of Allentown is going to have a reminder that you don't get to just sit on the sidelines and watch things happen if you want a better city. Governor Schweiker, I'm so glad you're here. You are seeing a different Allentown than the city that we had when you served the Commonwealth. Allentown has changed a lot. And it is our responsibility as Allentonians to be actively involved in creating the future that we want for everybody. And we are now going to have a bell on the sidewalk right here in downtown Allentown on Hamilton Street that will be that reminder that we must stay involved and we must continue to welcome everybody into the life of the city. So let this be a reminder of hope. Let this be a reminder of participation. Let this be a reminder that you must be actively involved. Muchísimas gracias a todos. Thank you, Fadia. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We also have in the audience the Chief of Staff for the Auditor General. Thank you so much for attending today. I appreciate that. It's a privilege to introduce a true champion for our community and for this historic commemoration, State Senator Nick Miller. Representing the people of Pennsylvania, State Senator represents District 14. He has been a dedicated advocate for initiatives and celebrates our history while investing in our future. His leadership has been instrumental in bringing the Allentown semi-quincentennial bell to our community, ensuring that this powerful symbol of freedom, reflection, and unity is accessible to the people it fits and represents. Senator Miller has also been a steadfast supporter of America250PA, consistently championing efforts to commemorate the 250th anniversary of our nation in meaningful and inclusive ways. His commitment to honoring our shared history while uplifting our communities is evident in all that he does. Please join me in welcoming State Senator Nick Miller.
Well, thank you, Fadia, and good morning. It's a beautiful day here in the Lehigh Valley. Just earlier this week, the State Senate went on a field trip to Philadelphia where we held a special session. We visited Independence Hall and then the Constitution Center, and I couldn't help but, while we sat there listening about Philadelphia, think about the historical importance that the Lehigh Valley has played in our nation's history, and specifically the geographically relevant things here in the city of Allentown. You may have noticed the construction going on at Center Square, a historical monument that will be more accessible to the public and activation space for our community as well, and then the bell itself. And I think about a city that was so persevered in protecting a symbol of liberty and freedom while also now carrying that forward, being resilient and prideful in our community. And you talk about the energy in downtown Allentown and across the Lehigh Valley of working hard, working together. We continue to show and outshine other parts of the state and the country. And I think about the team that we have here locally, the team that brought this together. We thank so many people. I think about the list of folks that contributed to this. Vince Sorgi from PPL personally contributed to it, and NISDA, PPL, our City Center, AEDC, just a number of folks that have stepped up to celebrate our history in this moment that's going to be so great for our Commonwealth. So I wanted to take a second just to thank Cassandra and Fadia for putting this all together, not just securing this bell that is 6 feet tall and almost 1,500 pounds, and it is permanent. I've been asked a couple of times, it's a permanent historical monument, which I thought was incredibly important to celebrate our history. The mayor mentioned that history being in the basement of this beautiful church, but being able to have it here on the street level, and I have to mention, as it's a week of tourism celebration here across Pennsylvania, having a visual piece here on the sidewalk in downtown Allentown that folks can not just think about it when they're students visiting this church, but folks visiting our city. And without all the teamwork that we've had putting this just together today and a bunch of other investments in downtown, I want to thank Pat Brown specifically and NISDA for the work they've done in really bringing downtown Allentown to life. And as we continue to celebrate America 250, I want to thank all of our partners, Cassandra, and the work that you've done across Pennsylvania. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, Fadia.
Thank you, Senator. We're honored to be joined by Governor Mark Schreier. Schweiker, a distinguished former governor of Commonwealth and a dedicated member of America250PA Commission. In his service on the commission, Governor Schweiker has helped advance a vision that reaches every corner of Pennsylvania, one that connects communities to the story of our nation's founding and ensures that this historic commemoration is both meaningful and enduring. His leadership reflects a deep respect for our shared heritage and a strong commitment to civic engagement and education. And as we approach this once-in-a-generation milestone, please join me in welcoming Governor Mike Schweiker.
Thank you, Fadia. And folks, so many partners and advocates bring us here. Big hand again for all of our backers. Reverend, you had it right relative to the inspiration and the energy you brought to your remarks. You know, it occurred to me as we gather on this, I mean, is this not a gorgeous day? It's a Thursday in downtown Allentown with plenty of sunshine. Well, I have to tell you, though, that Nick, you probably remember, was it in January when the Lehigh County gathering to kind of kick off this year? We've had many events. I probably have had the pleasure and honor of being in the company of good Pennsylvanians, all but probably 50-some events. But we all talk about the America250PA energy and the travel. I mean, Cass Coleman, I have to acknowledge, and Governor Shapiro asked me to do this, and to be here today, is that was in the midst of a 67-stop day, or stretch of days, where Cass traveled to every county in Pennsylvania. We have 67 counties. But looking back on Lehigh County that day, if you remember, Fadia, gorgeous sunshine today, Mayor. Thank you for that. We couldn't get up Hamilton Street because of about 6 to 10 inches of snow that had visited the Lehigh Valley that day, if you remember. A much smaller gathering than the smiling faces and the number of people that we see today. So it says a lot about your motivation and the draw of this event, as so many of the prior speakers acknowledged. Just the accomplishment it represents, done publicly in impressive ways through the partnership. I do think, though, and the mayor and I had a quick conversation about this, a little bit different than 1776 and 1777. Because you would be, perhaps, if you were invited to a very secret gathering, talk about the idea that we will fetch the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia and travel 60-some miles to a location that was not disclosed. You would think, could we do this? Today, accolades, proclamation, sunshine, we all turn out. There's no question that you're seated next to Americans who know the nature of the American spirit, our fight for freedom, and the significance of the installation of this bell that could not be done in 1776 and 1777. I know of a moment when a spouse turned to a loved one the night before the planning session was to occur for this and said, "You're doing what?" King George said you could be executed for participating in such treachery and treasonous behavior. And if you had gone to that plenary session, friends, you would have sat next to someone and said to yourself, I hope this person is a patriot and not a loyalist, because people were ratting each other out. They knew the redcoats were coming, quite literally, and there was no trial, there was no prosecution. If they decided that you had participated in that kind of activity, you would be shot on the spot. And so the spouse turns to this individual who's ready to reach that plenary session in the morning and say, you have kids. You have obligations here. You're going to get on that horse in the morning and go to a place, I don't know where you're going, and with who? That was the nature of life in 1776 and 1777. So if there's any question for young or old, about the courage. And friends, sometimes I watch some of the shows and some of the CNN presentations about, the more romantic version of the launch of the Republic and what is now the longest running democracy in the history of the planet. And there is a soft side to it. And I wonder what younger people kind of file away. But you and I now know, as you stand here and sit next to each other, that patriotic spirit is real. It's compelling. The idea of wanting to be a free person was not a given. And so this is a very powerful symbol. And as the mayor said, it's for all, and Senator Miller mentioned it as well. When they drive by, they will see. This is an example of what comes of patriotic spirit when free people with a sense of determination and such a brave outlook come together. But think about this. They actually participated in a trek that was 60 miles long. No guarantees that they will get to their destination. No guarantees that they would be confronted by the redcoats. No guarantees that they would even live to see Allentown. So in my mind, friends, you have now become part of a very important American choir. And as the pastor knows, on the weekend, the choir sings the loudest. And it's you good folks now who must sing the loudest, especially with younger Americans, and say, we would not be here without your forebears who came from places like Tamaqua and Coopersburg and Easton and Trexlertown, because they believed that they were free people. And they could sit here and say, yes, we will fight for this, with absolutely no guarantees. So in that regard, friends, in my estimation, this is a wonderful gathering on a very comfortable May Day. But as we close in on July 4th, I hope you hug your kids, get to know your neighbors, and say this American spirit's remarkable. Actually has helped us build a country and give so much opportunity and reward to good folks like yourself. So with that, Nadia, thank you so much for having us. And friends, big round of applause for our organizers who make this day and program possible. Thanks, Fadia.
Thank you, Governor. We are actually here. This is the district for Representative P. Schweier. He was unable to be here today. I gave him a pass. He's moving his daughter home from college. But we do have his chief of staff here, Nancy Will, who's also an Allentown School Board member. And she has a proclamation that she wanted to present to Cassandra. You can give it to us. Thank you so much. We also have Congressman Ryan McKenzie here today, and he also has a proclamation for our committee. Thank you, Congressman. It's a pleasure to introduce a distinguished historian and dedicated steward of our local heritage, Dr. James Higgins. As Executive Director of the Lehigh County Historical Society, Dr. Higgins brings both scholarly expertise and a deep passion for preserving and sharing the rich history of our region. His work ensures that stories, people, and milestones that shape Lehigh County are not only remembered, but made accessible and meaningful for future generations. With a PhD and a lifelong commitment of historical research and education, Dr. Higgins has helped to connect our community to its past in a thoughtful and engaging way, reminding us that understanding where we come from is essential to shaping where we are going. It has been a joy to work with him and his team planning our celebrations. Thank you for your friendship and all you've done. When I came with my crazy ideas, he didn't shoo me away. So please welcome Dr. Higgins.
Good morning, everyone. Well, I got teed up by the mayor of my beloved city, and now I'm speaking after a governor. It's not easy. Fadia, you've been absolutely wonderful. 2 years you've been working so hard. I don't know how you do it. We gather here for an auspicious occasion to rededicate and reaffirm our commitment to remember the brave souls who, at great risk to themselves, hid from the British a number of bells from the city of Philadelphia in the simple church that once graced this site. Among those bells was the former State House bell of the colony of Pennsylvania. The story of the Liberty Bell in the High German Evangelical Reformed Church is one of courage, at times in the face of mortal danger. But I ask everyone to consider now the truly great sweep of time and the rebirths between that day and this. The Liberty Bell itself was cast not once, not twice, but 3 times before it came here to our beloved city of Allentown. Likewise, more than a century after its 9-month sojourn under this church's floorboards, it took another generation of revolutionaries, the abolitionists of the 19th century, to adopt the bell and to give it the name that we know it by today, the Liberty Bell. At the same time, our colony became a state, and our collection of peoples a nation. I ask you to consider where you stand now. The muddy streets and this small, insignificant cluster of buildings, perched nearly on the edge of Pennsylvania's frontier. You see, I believe that the story of the Liberty Bell is actually the origin story of our community, the city of Allentown. For all the struggles and the triumphs of our community over the succeeding 250 years, the Liberty Bell remains the foundation of the earliest stories of our shared past. The telling of the moving and the hiding of the Liberty Bell in Allentown changes with every teller. It's the nature of oral tradition. But no matter how we tell it, no matter how we remember it, we consider the Liberty Bell Allentown's bell. And no matter our differences, our color or our religion, it is the inheritance of us all. It remains for men and women, pastors and congregants of this church. Reverend Edwards, you are one in a chain of people linked by faith and love and this church. You and your congregants and the ones who came before breathe life into this chapel every day. We sit here and we remember and we know that this bell belongs to each and every one of us. Happy birthday, America.
Thank you, Dr. Higgins. As we prepare to commemorate 250 years of our nation's founding, we're not just looking back, we are building forward. That's why we're so proud to highlight 4 enduring projects that will carry this celebration beyond today into the future. Our Lehigh County Liberty Legacy Gardens. Each of the 4 Liberty Legacy Gardens represents a living tribute to our founding fathers and to the ideas that define this nation. Freedom, resilience, community, and hope. The Liberty Legacy Garden at the Lehigh Valley Zoo will honor Thomas Jefferson. At Leaser Lake, George Washington. At the Da Vinci Science Center, Benjamin Franklin. And at our Lehigh County founding father, George Taylor, at the George Taylor House. These spaces will serve as places of reflection, education, and inspiration, where families can gather, where students can learn, and where future generations can come with principles that have guided our country for 2.5 centuries. But our work doesn't stop there. We are also excited to invite residents and visitors alike experience the Lehigh County Treasure Trail, a journey through the rich history, culture, and hidden gems that define our community. The Treasure Trail will connect people to the places and stories that make Lehigh County unique, encouraging exploration, discovery, and a deeper appreciation of the role our region has played in American history. And now, I invite everyone to join us for the highlight of today's ceremony, the unveiling of the Allentown Semi-Quincentennial Bell. This bell stands as a powerful symbol of reflection, unity, and the enduring spirit of our nation as we approach this historic milestone. As part of America's 250th birthday, it represents our shared commitment of honoring the past while inspiring future generations. Please make your way towards the bell for the unveiling and the photo opportunity. We ask that everyone follow the guidance of the event staff, and thank you as we look forward to sharing this historic experience. Dr. Higgins. Dr. Higgins.